What up, chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side? It's me, Keisha, and I'm here with this week's All Tea, All Shade, Real Housewives of Miami, Season 6, Episode 14 review. So the ladies are on the cast trip in Mexico City, and it's day 2, I believe, and they're going to the church to go pray to the Guadalupe. I think she was an angel, if I'm not mistaken. But Julia lets us know that she separated herself from the church years ago when her son passed away, because she said that, she asked God for answers and she never got one. So she's going to go out of respect for the other ladies, but it's not her thing. The ladies get to the church. It's a beautiful church, and they all pray. I think Kiki and Julia didn't, because I saw Kiki standing up next to Julia, but excuse me. It made me cry because Gertie was praying and she just broke down and was saying, she's scared, and Alexia and surprisingly Larsa was there for her. Larsa was consoling her and just rubbing her and all of those things. And I was really shocked by that because, lead us to believe Larsa ain't got a soul. And even Gertie was shocked and appreciative of how Larsa was there for her in that moment. So Lenny ends up calling Lisa later on that day about the settlement, because neither one of them want to go to court. And if they don't settle by that weekend, that Monday, they would have had to go to court and fight it out in court. And neither one of them wanted to do that. The cameras couldn't film the conversation because Lenny wouldn't agree to it. But apparently, Lisa decided to go ahead and sign the settlement. So the ladies go and do a gondola ride, and Lisa is crying, child, because she feel like she lost something in this settlement agreement. She feels like, she's a failure, and she failed at her marriage and everything, and she's really emotional and she's crying and everything. And it was like, I get it, but a part of me was feeling like, is this 100% genuine, or are you looking for a moment to milk this pivotal moment in your life? A part of me feels like it was half and half. I do feel like she was emotional and upset about it, but then the other part of me felt like she was playing it up for the cameras. What y'all think? So Lisa says during a conversation with the ladies that sometimes she ends up snapping on Jody when he's just trying to be helpful towards her. And Larsa turns to her and was like, yeah, by the way, if you lost Jody, you'd regret it because you're going to be screwed. I don't know anyone else that would take your ish. No offense. And so Lisa stopped and looked at her. She was like, that's an effed up thing to say. Well, wow. Like, really? And she was like, Larsa was like, I mean, you're like needy. You're like a baby. And Lisa was like, you're needy. And she was like, and you're a bully. And so I thought it was going to go somewhere, but that didn't really go anywhere as far as the argument. Because, her and Larsa are friends, but you can tell that really irked her for Larsa to say that to her, and especially in front of the other women. But I'm looking like, ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? Because I'm looking at Larsa like, if she's needy, what are you? This is the same person that threw a Taco Tuesday party for your boyfriend who was gone 3 days. But that's not needy. Make it make sense, love. Come on. Please stop. But I do agree with Larsa to an extent, because it's not a lot of men that's going to put up with Lisa in their mouth, because she would have been got chin checked, okay? Excuse me. I'm so sorry, you guys. It is 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm filming this so I can be done with it. But that happened on the boat. And after that, we see Adriana point to one of the homes that they're riding past going down this river. And she was like, we could be living in that house over there. Look at that. And the houses are basically shacks, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? They were put together with things that obviously people could find to build shelter. You know, this is very, very destitute areas. So Marisol was like, I bet those people feel very grateful for what they have. Kiki in her confessional is taking offense to all of this because she herself grew up in homes like that. Her grandmother had a home like that back in Trinidad, where she came from. So she just felt like the ladies were being, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like elitist almost, and, you know, just talking down on people's situations when you don't really know how it feels to be in that situation. She didn't like the way the conversation was going. So they then see these dogs that, you know, aren't in the best condition. They look dirty or whatever, but judging by the area in which they live, they were white dogs. So of course they're going to get dirty being outside in the mud and out in the grass and all of that stuff. So Lisa starts throwing food that they were eating on the gondola over into these people's yards. And everybody's like, Lisa, stop. And she was like, no, they're hungry or whatever. And even the man on the gondola was looking like, yo, this white lady tripping. Like, if she don't stop. So Alexia apologized to the man. And he was like, you know, the owners feed them, you know. And she was like, I understand. I'm so sorry. So Lisa was like, it's just chicken. It's better than what they get fed. I promise you. I promise they get fed worse. And that was such a stupid thing to say, because just because their living conditions look a certain way don't mean that they're not being taken care of, and don't mean that these people are just feeding them anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're judging, you're assuming, you know? And so at this point, Kiki is really fed up. And she was like, Lisa, that was not nice. You don't know. And Lisa gets up and get to screaming at her like she a kid. And I'm like, Lisa, you can try that stuff with these white girls, but you are not about to be able to pull that with Kiki, Miss Ma'am. It's not about to happen. So Kiki was like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get up and scream. You get up with me and I'm going to get up with you, and then it's going to be something. And I was like, you better tell her, ma'am. And so Lisa stands up and does like this, like, and then literally says, I'm up. What you gonna do? To a black woman. Baby, Kiki was like, girl, sit down. I'm not doing this with you. Oh, okay. So she had a juice box and she threw it in her direction. Not at her face or anything like that, but she did throw it at her. Oh, Lisa turned into a white woman then. I can't believe you threw something at me. That's assault. That's assault. Girl, if you don't get somewhere and sit down. You want to instigate something, and then when the person react, now you want to play the assaulted white woman. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, girl, we're not about to do that. You literally got up on some and what? And she and what? Okay, she gave you the what, and then you couldn't handle the what. So she get to talk about how she was assaulted, and Kiki at some point ends up sitting back down because she's pissed. Like, if that could have escalated anymore, Kiki would have probably ended up slapping the mess out of Lisa. And somebody needs to, because she been getting on my nerves this season. So Lisa's like, don't you ever effing throw something at me again. And then she tells Kiki to shut the F up or whatever. And Kiki was like, you shut the F up. And she was like, bravo, Lisa. Like, okay, girl, here you go, putting on another Academy Award performance. Like, please. So Lisa finally sit down and she's going off because everybody was telling her, like, you need to sit down, you tripping, you doing too much. And everybody knows that this isn't even really about Kiki. It's about this divorce settlement. And it's just a settlement. They ain't even legally divorced yet, I don't think. So, she then get to going off on everybody and says that, you know, she's going through something. She just signed her divorce papers. We get it, but that don't give you the right to start talking to people crazy because you going through something. That's not how life works. So even Larsa says, Lisa, you're trying Kiki to a point you don't try another woman. And I was like, I have never, I don't think ever agreed with Larsa on anything. But if one thing Larsa do know with having black children and being around black people is you can't play them type of games, Miss Mama, with people. No, like you really tried it and you're trying her and you're doing too much. So of course Lisa takes offense to that, because how dare you tell me I'm wrong and you're supposed to be my friend. And so Lisa gets mad at Larsa, and Lisa then tell everybody to shut the F up. And Alexi was like, well, we could say the same thing to you. Why you keep on telling us to shut the F up? So Lisa really getting in her feelings. She won't off the boat. When the ladies try to pray the negativity away, she don't want to participate. The wind get the blowing and stuff when Adriana started to pray, child, and it was giving me eerie vibes, and I was like, what is happening? It was reminding me of an episode of True Blood. Next thing you know, we see people hanging from trees and dolls and stuff hanging, and the man on the gondola tells them the story about this man where a child had drowned in the river and he was seeing stuff, so he was hanging dolls to keep the spirits or something away, and it was called Island of the Dolls. And it was just freaking Julia out. She started freaking out because while she's been there on this trip, thoughts of her son have been coming up, and then seeing these babies in this morbid way made her think of her son. She got the freaking out crying, everybody else freaking out crying, and it was just a mess, child, a mess. And I felt bad for Julia and what she was going through. Lisa was being a butthole, really, honestly, truly was. And I was happy that somebody stood up to her and checked her and reminded her, you can play with everybody. Play with your kids. Don't play with me. Play with Lenny. Don't play with me. Okay. Play with Jody, but don't play with me. Okay. And I'm liking that Kiki is stepping more up to the plate this season and letting the girls know, yeah, I might be a friend of, but I'm still here. I'm still here. Some Tisha Campbell type time. I'm going to give this week's episode of Real Housewives of Miami, I'm going to give it a B+. It was a good episode. I really enjoyed it. Let's talk about it down below in the comment section, you guys. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.